like to call the meeting to order. Please rise if you're able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Moore,
Present.
Councilman Neely,
Present.
Councilman Lee,
Present.
Councilman Kell,
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here.
Thank you. Before we get started today, I just want to give our heartfelt thanks to our Highway Department, all the employees under the leadership of Superintendent McCardle and Deputy Superintendent Mark Brager, and they did an amazing job given the amount of snow and the whiteout conditions that they had to deal with. And I'm also very grateful to our Public Safety Administrator, Ryan Murphy, for his guidance and outreach throughout, before, during, and after the storm. And we also had some acts of heroism from our police and local fire departments with fires in both Noyak and Shinnecock Hills this weekend. I'm sure Councilman Pell has some more details on that. Or,
Because she does the fire department.
okay, yeah, all
But
right.
our good friend Paulus Walker, a local chief of Southampton Fire Department, made a very good rescue, and Councilwoman was.
This is from the chief, right? So this was the correspondence we got from the chief on it. At 3:07 a.m. on January 24th, the Southampton Fire Department was called out for an automatic fire alarm on Inlet Road East in Shinnecock Hills. Chief Paulus Walker and Southampton Town Police Officer Kevin O'Brien arrived shortly thereafter. Officer O'Brien stated that he can see smoke in the residence. Chief Walker requested mutual aid departments to the scene, but they were eventually released due to the fire being under control. Officer O'Brien was able to force the door, and they found an elderly male on the second floor. The victim was suffering from smoke inhalation. Southampton Fire Chief Walker was able to carry the subject down the stairs to safety, while Police Officer O'Brien knocked down the fire with a fire extinguisher. So I just want to thank them both. This is actually the second fire actually in Shinnecock Hills in a short span of time where a elderly individual was actually saved either by our police department or our fire fighters. So I want to thank them again for going above and beyond. And, technically, I guess they could have sat and waited for help to arrive, but they, took the initiative to go in and get this individual to safety. So I just want to give them a round of applause.
Yes.
Just one more thing for the Southampton Fire Department, they're having a blood drive. So if anyone has time later today, just drop by and drop a plane off.
Yes, sure.
I'd like to just mention really briefly what happened in Noyak as well. The Sag Harbor Fire Department, with assistance from North Sea and East Hampton, responded to a fire in Pine Neck. Without question, the town highway department didn't need to be asked. They brought equipment right away. They worked with everybody, all the parties. Special thanks to Rich White with the highway department. A lot of volunteers. Red Cross also answered right away when they were called by Southampton Public Safety Director Ryan Murphy, coordinated very swiftly, put things into motion. I live in that area, so I had calls from neighbors who were scared once they saw the flames, including myself. But the Southampton Town Police, with our local fire departments and our first responders, fire marshal, all responded very effectively and swiftly, as well as Suffolk County Fire Rescue and Emergency Services, which I want to thank them as well. I am extraordinarily relieved that everybody was okay. So again, a round of applause. Thank you for everybody for coordinating.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on with the meeting. I move to approve the minutes from the town board meeting of January 13th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the communication?
Certainly. We have received the following communications in the office of the town clerk from the New York State Department of Public Service. Notice of Long Island in-person winter energy fair, town of Southold, notice of adoption, New York State Liquor Authority 30-day advance notice to local municipalities from the new applicants listed. Annual financial disclosure statement filing from the listed individual, and correspondence have been received regarding the following topics. Planning Board matter of propane depot, 159 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays. Proposed amendment, Chapter 111, Article 6, prohibit construction of private docks in Peconic Bay. Village of Southampton Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation application for 262 Pond Lane, Southampton Village. The following bid and RFP submissions were received Wednesday, January 14th for the 2026 disposal and recycling services for mixed paper and corrugated cardboard, and a bid for 2026 dry cleaning and laundry services. The following report was received from the Town Comptroller for the December 2025 monthly financial reports. And that concludes the communications for this meeting's agenda.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do have 4 walk-ons that I would like to add to the agenda. The first is Town Board Resolution ID number 2026-0266 to update the town workplace violence prevention program. The second is Town Board Resolution ID number 2026-0267 to ratify a settlement agreement. The third walk-on is Town Board Resolution ID number 2026-0279 to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents for the New York State Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program for the Hampton West Park revitalization. And the final walk-on is Town Board Resolution ID number 2026-0283, the warrant number 2. I move to add those items to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then before we get started with the public hearing, I would like to move to take Resolution 2026-0253 on page 130 out of order.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
This is a resolution to appoint a new assistant town engineer, and she's with us today along with our engineer, Tom Houghton. Page 130.
Like to second?
Yeah,
Moving it forward?
I think you did. We did that. Yeah. You found it? Bill? There it is.
Yep.
So Town Board Resolution 2026-0253 to appoint May Mullaney to Assistant Town Engineer position in the Municipal Works Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're so pleased. May's here with Tom Houghton, our town engineer. Why don't you come on up and just let us give you a handshake, because we're so thrilled to have you.
Congratulations, you'll be seeing a lot of me.
Ah, nice to have you join the team. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Tom.
Nice to meet you. I know, this is so long overdue, but really,
Yeah, we're thrilled.
it's going to make such a
Trying to
change.
get me on board since December, so early December.
Well.
Great.
Well done. I'm glad you did. All
Fantastic.
right, well, thanks for coming today.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Okay, good. All right, let's go back to the regular agenda. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the first public hearing?
Public hearing number 1, to consider amending Town Code, Chapter 111, Article 6, construction in and adjacent to town waters and beach areas to prohibit the construction of private docks in the Peconic Bay.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and members of the Town Board. For the record, I am Kelly Doyle, Assistant Town Attorney. As indicated, this is a public hearing to consider whether or not to amend Chapter 111, Article 6, in order to prohibit the construction of private residential docks in the Great Peconic Bay and Little Peconic Bay. This amendment would create a new Town Code Section 111-30.1. Subsection A would indicate the locations where residential docks would be prohibited. Section B indicates the penalty for a violation of Article 6. Just a note, the penalty is the same as set forth in the existing prior section of Article 6, so this is just taken from the prior section. As indicated in the legislative intent for this proposed law, the construction of private residential docks in the Great Peconic Bay and Little Peconic Bay is not consistent with the town's coastal resources and water protection plan. It is the policy of the town to preserve natural resources, to maintain water quality, to protect wetlands, and to maintain wildlife habitats. Historically, the shorelines of the Great Peconic and Little Peconic Bays have essentially remained dock-free. There is concern about potentially the bays freezing over or storms with strong winds that could potentially damage docks in this area and then cause cleanup for other property owners. Other concerns are that docks may impede navigation and public access for recreational purposes. Alternatives to having a dock could potentially be a boat davit positioned on the landward side of a bulkhead, potentially a mooring, or utilizing a boat slip at a nearby marina. Just a few notes, the town of Southold has adopted a similar local law that prohibits the construction of residential docks in the Great Peconic Bay and Little Peconic Bay. The New York State Department of State, DOS, has issued 2 letters objecting to 2 separate applications to install residential docks in Little Peconic Bay. The DOS has indicated that such structures are not consistent with the policies of the New York State Coastal Management Program. We have received correspondence both in support and in opposition to the proposed local law. I have not seen any comments back yet from the Suffolk County Planning Commission, so I believe we are still waiting on that. Does the board have any questions at this point?
So just for clarification, this is supportive in, I guess, in terms of the terminology and recommendations outlined in the New York State Coastal Management Program, and does also satisfy the criteria of the town's Coastal Resources and Water Protection Plan, which was authored in 2016.
Yes, yes. Yep, that is correct.
That's good clarification. Thank you, Kelly. All right, so we do have several cards, and the first is Angelo Vignola, and after Angelo is Martha Reichert.
Hi, my name is Angelo Vignola. I live at 65 East Shore Road in Southampton. Past 38 years, and enjoying the water, the beach. Until now, we have this here pier that was constructed just east of me. The problem is the First Coastal sent out a literature to all the property owners. That's how I found out that you had the board meeting here today. Totally against it. My lot is 60 feet wide. My neighbors are 60 feet wide. Could you imagine everybody having a pier shooting out into the water from east to west? It would be totally unsafe for everybody that's enjoying the water. I understand the water is public, and it should be. But by having these here piers jetting out into this here water that's been so pristine all these years, I saw a lot of things that changed through the years, especially in marine life. You can see it, but this is not going to, it's only going to make it even worse. I know I only have 3 minutes, so try to get as much as I can.
So you're in favor of us adopting the ban on the docks in those areas?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's no reason for it, because I spoke to the person that has that pier going out. He has a yacht, and he used that yacht maybe 6 times during the summer. He had difficulty getting it in and out. They leave in the morning, it's nice and calm, but they come back in the afternoon, you got 20-mile-an-hour winds, so where does he go from there? So either he goes to the safe haven, a slip, or another marina, but for half a dozen times that he's using that pier, we look at it for all year long. And with the, if everybody has a dock like that, it's unsafe. So that's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I noticed legislator Ann Welker is here. Ann, did you want to speak on this topic, or are you just observing?
No, I'll speak, but only until
Okay.
sign up, so.
Well, all right. Okay. Martha Reichert. And after Martha, it's Aram Tertunian.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martha Reichert. I am a Southampton town resident. I live in Hampton Bays, but I'm also a practicing land use attorney. And I had the great honor of serving as an assistant town attorney for the town of Southampton. And while I was here, I was counsel to the Conservation Board and also to the trustees of the freeholders. So as a town resident, but also as an attorney, I'm bringing that knowledge and expertise here for my comments. I'm here to oppose this law for one fundamental reason, which is the town does not have any legal authority to enact it. This isn't a proposal to regulate docks. This is an outright prohibition, and categorically without exception in state-owned waters, for which there is no legal support absent an affirmative act of the legislature granting the town of Southampton that authority. Under New York law, navigable waters and submerged lands beneath them are held by the state of New York in its sovereign capacity, unless you have the unique situation that we find in Suffolk and Nassau County, owing to ownership of underwater lands pursuant to original colonial patents, which were then subsequently affirmed by the legislature. For example, the trustees of the freeholders of the commonalty of the town of Southampton, they own in their corporate body politic capacity all of the underwater lands within the town of Southampton. Similarly, the navigation law gives the town of Southampton the authority to regulate navigation and water-based, surface-based activities within the town of Southampton. But the courts have resoundingly held that the regulation of docks is connected to ownership of the underwater lands. And here in the Peconic Bays, the town of Southampton does not own the underwater lands. The town's boundaries end at the mean high water line. This goes back to the Dongan patent. This goes back to the 1788 ratification of each town's descriptions by the legislature, and also a 1903 case of Parks v. Southold, which went all the way up to the Court of Appeals and affirmed the holding of the justice in that case that neither Southold nor the town of Southampton own the underwater lands of the Peconic Bay. And in fact, if you look at the tax map, you'll see that there's a 500-foot wide strip that was specifically reserved by the state of New York when it ceded title to the county of Suffolk for the shellfish, the aquaculture oyster program in the, I guess, late 1800s. So the state of New York owns this land. And absent a delegation from the New York State Legislature, the town has no authority under the navigation law. Certainly not Article 3 of the navigation law, which is cited here, because that is completely about the state's regulation. The town of Southampton is not mentioned in Navigation Law 46A, subsection 2, which contains all of the municipalities that have received a specific grant from the legislature to regulate docks. For example, the village of North Haven has been granted legislative approval to do it. Moreover, citing to Town Law Article 16 as the basis of your authority, that's your zoning power. This proposed law isn't being put in your zoning code. It's not being couched as zoning. But moreover, courts have held that your zoning ends at mean high water. The town does not have an LWRP. Your navigation law authority to regulate, again, speed of boats, moorings, anchoring, that is all within 1,500 feet, and that's under the navigation law. But as I stated earlier, it does not include the authority to regulate docks. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation issues permits and has issued permits in Peconic Bay waters.
30 seconds.
And so what you're doing here is creating a conflict of law, a direct conflict in which the town has been preempted, again, absent that legislative directive, and you can't regulate this. So I want to be clear, environmental concerns aside, no matter how sincerely held they are, do not cure a lack of jurisdiction. You just can't do this. It's against the law, and you don't have the authority to do it.
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
I have a question. Kelly, would you mind coming up here really quick? Is this action consistent with the state's coastal policies?
Yes. We have 2 letters from the New York State Department of State. One of them has a whole paragraph in here about town jurisdiction and how the town has jurisdiction. I'm not going to read it all for you right now, but I think you already have a copy of this, and I can submit another copy. But that's what is stated.
But
in the letter.
basically, the town has the ability to prohibit these docks based on, first and foremost, the state's recommendations outlined in the coastal document that you referenced, in addition to the fact that there is consistency in those recommendations with the policies that are being introduced by the municipality.
Right, yes, that is correct. That's what's outlined in these
Okay.
2 letters that we've received from the state.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker is Aram Tertunian.
Good afternoon. With your permission, I'm going to put a map up.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, Town Board. For the record, Aram Tertunian, First Coastal, West Hampton Beach, New York. I've handed up to you already a letter with an attachment, so I won't read the letter. We'll just kind of go over what I wrote. I'd like to agree with Martha Reichert's comments regarding jurisdiction. It's pretty clear, even for a coastal geologist, that New York State owns the underwater lands. In view of the fact that this hearing on a dock ban is being held in the dead of winter after a vicious snowstorm, when most of the people that it impacts are in the 4 corners of the United States or the world, I recommend first and foremost that this be adjourned for all purposes until the summer, when those people can be here and they can voice their concerns. There's over 300 homeowners on almost 15 miles of shoreline that are impacted by this decision.
361.
Thank you. In summary, this is a solution in search of a problem. There is no problem. Docks, whether in the Peconic Bay, the Mauritius Bay, or Shinnecock Bay, are not an environmental, aesthetic, or safety issue. No evidence has been presented in any documents to show that. If the town truly wants to regulate docks, then do it the right way. Go to the state legislature, get your authority to do it, and then prepare a generic environmental impact statement. That's what's called for here under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. All right? Hold the hearings when the people most affected can attend. And this is exactly what the town did in 2000 when they wanted to enact a ban on shoreline hardening structures on the Atlantic Ocean. They held hearings, they did it in the summer, they did it GEIS. It's what the law requires you to do. I'll differ with Ms. Doyle. Docks on the Peconic Bays and Noyac Bay have been permitted by the United States Army Corps of Engineers, the New York State Department of State, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the New York State Office of General Services, because they all meet the standards. Now, in the DOS case, they approved 5 docks and then objected to 2, including one that's immediately next door to one they already approved. And those matters are now under a federal administrative appeal. So that's.
But they did object to it.
They
I mean,
object
So you're
after-
not disagreeing with Kelly, you're
No.
just disagreeing with DOS.
I'm saying 5 yeses, 2 nos. 1 no, right next door to a yes. This directly conflicts with the town's 2016 coastal resources. I handed you up excerpts from the document itself and go back and look at it, nowhere in this document does it say the word prohibit. It says manage. It talks about dock length. It talks about shading. It talks about avoiding sensitive habitat. It talks about a standards-based approach, which is the same approach that the town uses and the state uses and the Army Corps uses on all docks. Not a blanket prohibition, which would be a complete departure from the way that business is typically done, but rather a case-by-case analysis to determine whether or not at some individual site a dock is warranted or not. So if the town wants to regulate the docks, they should do it the right way. The concerns that have been voiced about view shed and ice and wave damage, debris, eelgrass, disruption of the littoral current, these are all mitigated through design, through siting, and provide and exist today in the regulatory toolkit used by the federal, state, and local agencies. I won't dwell on the fact that this is contrary to riparian law, but people who have waterfront property have the right to wharf out to navigable waters as long as they reasonably don't impact navigation or environmental resources. Standards-based, case by case.
30 seconds.
So I would just say, in closing, if the town would like to regulate 361 waterfront properties on 15 miles of shoreline, then they should get jurisdiction from New York State. They should write a generic environmental impact statement and hold hearings when the people affected are here and can participate.
I have one quick question for you.
3
Are-
minutes.
Are you here representing any people along this area? The
Yes.
15 miles? And what are their addresses?
I don't have them off the top of my head, but I.
How many
matter
are
of
you
record.
representing? How many are you representing?
The current time's 7.
7, okay. Can you let us know what the address is?
With their permission, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I would just like to add, well, thank you, Aram, and I think, it's reasonable to say maybe more time is always a good thing for people to understand what is being considered. But I just want to say, though, that hardened structures such as docks have proven to be a subject of topics amongst environmentalists for causing, and I know the trustees have looked into this, habitat loss, habitat disruption. So it's not necessarily that there is no environmental impact, especially in the Peconics, but I just want to clarify that for the record.
Thank you for clarifying that, but docks are not hardened structures. These are open pile, light penetrating catwalks that in no way can be considered anything akin to a
Hardened
bulkhead or a
structure?
seawall.
They're not hardened structures?
No. Not under the definition. They're not erosion prevention structures. They don't interfere with the longshore flow of sand. And these are all the standards-based things that go into each and every case-by-case evaluation.
I'm not sure if that's a consensus amongst the community, but I appreciate your
It's a
interpretation.
fact of the industry.
What did you call them? Open?
Open pile, light penetrating. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
I don't want to, the public hearing is not for,
Come
to
in
go
and
back and
clarify
forth with
some
the
statements.
board and the residents. You let them, people speak, and we'll take it on their
Could we just get clarification from Janice?
What's that?
Could we just get some
No,
clarification? from Janice?
I just want to make a point that we have, and we've been, my office, Kelly and I have been speaking with the Department of State and also with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation on this. So before we give advice for the board to take an action on this, we will speak, further with both state agencies to make sure that we're in compliance with all state regulations and laws.
Good afternoon. Janice Scherer, Town Planning and Development Administrator. I would like to talk about that I was here and helped work on the water protection plan. The people that helped us draft the water protection plan are from the New York State Department of Coastal Management. So Steve Ressler, who's a big name from, if anyone will recognize, Steve Bliven, who talks about the impacts of docks, These are the people who helped us work on our policies and plans. And I just want to enter this in the record. This is the document from NOAA, the environmental and aesthetic impacts of docks and piers. That is the science and research behind it. And quickly read into the record what the coastal management program says. And it says, it is not always necessary to conduct detailed individual site-by-site assessments of docks or vessels using them. Likewise, a detailed understanding of the specific types and degrees of impacts associated with a dock is not always a prerequisite to developing and making regulatory decisions. A valid and much easier approach based on generally understood resource and human use values, excuse me, is through the designation of areas that have special or high-value wetland or other natural resource or character values based on physical or other characteristics, which we know is the important thing in the Little and Great Peconic Bay. Steve Russler goes on to say in this document that private docks on publicly owned underwater lands and in public waters accessory to the private residential use of privately owned uplands affect public resources and areas and uses of them. They do not advance legislative public purposes or state or national coastal management objectives. They serve only the personal private use of the upland property owner, whether for the general private pedestrian access to the water or for the mooring of private recreational vessels. Someone always calls me when I'm up here. Impairing publicly owned natural resources and legitimate public uses of nearshore areas to varying degrees. Vessels using or associated with docks and the uses of vessels for a wide range of activities also have a wide range of effects, including suspension of sediments in shallow nearshore areas, erosion and scour of the shoreline areas and wetlands from vessel wakes and prop wash, the introduction of certain pollutants in the water column, noise, and conflicts between other legitimate public uses of nearshore areas. Government allows the owners of upland property abutting the water some type and degree of impairments to and interference with resources and public uses associated with docks and vessels. Government has considerable latitude. This is the state talking to you. Government has considerable latitude in deciding the types and levels of allowable private access to and uses of publicly owned lands, waters, and resources, and interference with the legitimate public uses and values associated with public resources. So it says, while private upland property owners generally have rights to construct docks for access to the water for navigation, this right is limited to the minimum necessary for access to the water. Furthermore, this right does not always include the right to construct a dock and moor a vessel to it. The decision allows greater encroachments into and impairments to publicly owned resources and legitimate public uses and resources through the construction and use of docks, blah, blah, blah. So I'd like to submit this to the record along with your general policies about docks that have been adopted, the coastal policies, and the biggest one is to avoid the loss of economic, environmental, and aesthetic values associated with these particular areas. So, and I can answer any questions, but I think that it's really important to understand that saying that we lack the jurisdiction when we're implementing the coastal policies of the state it doesn't make any sense. We are the state. We're acting through and with the state. So we being on the side of the public here. So
We'll look to review those materials.
Thank you, Janice.
All right, Catherine Milligan.
Hi, Catherine Milligan, 63 East Shore in Southampton. We own a 60-foot bulkhead on Little Peconic Bay. I've been a resident since 1975. I'm here today because I'm deeply, sorry, I don't public speak. I care deeply about the long-term preservation of Little Peconic Bay and the character of our shoreline. I want to thank the town for holding this public hearing and consider legislation to prohibit future docks. Because of what is happening now, it's setting a precedent that may be impossible to undo. Little Peconic Bay is not a canal, a river, or a sheltered harbor. It is an open bay exposed to the wind, wave action, and ice. Anybody had a look today? And erosion. For decades, the shoreline has remained largely free of docks, and that is not by chance. It reflects both environmental realities of this bay and deliberate planning decisions made over many years. It's also important to note that Little Peconic Bay is part of the Peconic Estuary Complex, which has been designed as one of only 28 estuaries of national significance in the United States. That designation recognizes the ecological importance of these waters and signals that they warrant heightened care and protection. Docks are not passive structures. They alter water flow, increase scour around pilings, and disturb undredged bay bottom lands, which affect water quality and marine habitat. That is why the town-owned coastal resources and water protection plan emphasizes minimizing impacts to bottomlands, wildlife habitat, and aesthetic resources. We are now seeing a change along the shoreline. A dock has been constructed at 125 Mullen Hill Lane, and there is now a second dock at 13 Clearview Drive, also known as Two Bluff Way, which may or may not have had all the required permits. Intentional or not, these structures are creating a perception that docks are now acceptable along the stretch of shoreline. Once that perception takes hold, the next dock becomes easier and the next and the next. Before long, we risk a shoreline lined with docks, boats, jet skis, and a bay that's never been suited for that level of activity. That raises environmental concerns, boating safety issues, and aesthetic impacts that ultimately threaten the very qualities that make Little Peconic Bay special. This is not about any one homeowner. It's about fairness, consistency, and the long-term stewardship for all. If one dock is allowed to stand, others will understandably ask, why not me? And that's exactly why today's proposed legislation is so important.
30 seconds.
I want to commend the town for recognizing this moment and acting before the situation escalates further. Clear enforcement of rules protect everyone, residents, boaters, the environment, and the town itself. I strongly urge the town to move forward with prohibiting future docks in Little Peconic Bay and ensure that existing, recently constructed docks are carefully reviewed for compliance. Once this shoreline is altered, it cannot be restored.
3 minutes.
Thank you for your time, continued commitment to protecting Southampton's bays and waterways. And I can send, these are pictures that were taken of ice through the years. And as I said, anybody go have a look now. The bay is frozen.
You want to hand this up to the clerk?
Thank you, Catherine.
Catherine is right.
Thank you.
She's a property owner. I have known her and her husband for a long time. He's a boat owner, has a boat. He could have had a dock in front of his house years ago, but he knew that it's not a safe place. He grew up around boats. His father had a boat. And I agree with everything she says on this.
You know, I just want to add to your point. You know, I understand Aaron's point of, you know, not having this conversation in the summer. And I hear you. I just, you know, government can't run on a seasonal basis. And when an issue like this is brought before us, you know, we're on a time frame to kind of listen and hear. And we now have technology where anybody, anywhere in the world can stream into our town board meetings and be heard. So what once was an argument of, you know, do this in the right time of the year, I don't think carries much weight anymore. As far as this goes, I know I've heard a lot of pushback from local residents until you tell them the area where you're talking about and explain, like, there aren't any docks. And, you know, having lived in Hampton Bays and, you know, you go out to Shinnecock Bay, there's areas of that bay and that shoreline now that are completely inaccessible to the public because of docks and because there's pilings and because, you know, people have bulkheads. And the Peconic is a place where you can still go and walk down the beach. You can drive your truck. You can go out clamming. It's just a spot that is beautiful and breathtaking, and there aren't these structures all down the shoreline. And I think really this board is looking to potentially preserve that, not just for, you know, it's not a question of trying to deny homeowners their rights. It's looking to preserve rights for the public at large. Maybe you can't afford a waterfront property, but you like to walk the beach with your dog and your kids, and you don't want to be impaired. You don't want to have to walk around pilings and docks and, you know, people's stuff that generally accompanies the side of their docks. So, you know, I'm open to hearing from people, and really at large, the most we've gotten on this is positive, and people that want to see this happen, because they truly believe that we need to preserve the shoreline as it exists for the people at large, not just for the homeowners.
And protect it.
So Jim, to that though, Jim, you know, this question about the high water mark, we are completely within our rights to say nothing until the high water mark, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then, like I said, I've been speaking, Kelly and I, been speaking with the Department of State. I've met personally with the Department of Environmental Conservation over in the Region 1 office in Stony Brook. They've been asking us what we're looking to do. I'm asking them what, you know, how we work together on this, and as well as with the DOS. So, you know, before we do anything, we'll make sure that we're in line with both state agencies.
Thank you.
All right, I do have another card from our Suffolk County legislator, Greg Dorosky, and then our legislator, Ann Welker, would like to speak also.
Thanks for coming over, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. And I have a letter to add to the record. I wanted to speak in support of this dock restriction on Great Peconic Bay and Little Peconic Bay because it is, I think based on my experience on the South Old Town Board, we took similar action last year to restrict docks in a number of freshwater bodies and brackish water bodies. Before that, we took action just like this to restrict docks on Great Peconic Bay and Little Peconic Bay. And the reason was multiple. Reasons were multiple. You know, there's the environmental reasons that everyone's aware of. There's maintaining the public access to our public lands that's been discussed about a little bit here. But I think there's also the issue, and the board on the North Fork talked a lot about this, is clarifying for the public what the rules are before they enter into a costly process, right? And even though our Board of Trustees in Southold had denied these permits for a long time, without having that clear guidance in the code that could be pointed to before someone enters the process, they found out after the fact. I think there's good economic precedence for this. There's clear legal precedent to do this. And I asked the board to pass this and really just further codify what's happening all around.
Legislator, thank you for coming out all this way, and we appreciate you. You do actually you actually look over some of our areas in the town of Southampton to the west. So thank you. You're also you attend a lot of the Peconic Estuary Partnership meetings, and I think a big topic of those conversations. They haven't weighed in on this, but one of the big topics that is covered quite often is the impacts of hardened structures like docks, bulkheads, et cetera.
Yep.
Would you say that there's quite a considerable amount of information out there that talks about the environmental impacts of those various structures?
Absolutely, and we see it not only in the scientific literature, but on the ground. And you see the impact of these hardened structures on not only the immediate shoreline, but down on other sides. All hardened structures have some impact. Sometimes you can't avoid them. This is a case, though, especially for residential docks, where we have a choice. We have the discretion to do that.
And you would also agree that as of late, it seems as if the scientific community, along with policymakers, certainly have been considering more so nature-based solutions to provide for, impacts to coastal erosion, coastal resiliency issues. Would you say that that's true?
100%. Okay. You raised the Peconic Estuary Partnership. That's been a big focus of their work. You've been in the meetings as well. You attend all of these as the town liaison to the Peconic Estuary Partnership. And these are what's being discussed. And this is the direction that the broader community is heading in. And I think this is part of that effort to limit the hardened structures that go on our shoreline in our estuary and realize the impact of them.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your coming today.
Yeah. Traffic wasn't too bad.
Congratulations.
Legislator Welker, please join us.
Thanks, Ann, for coming today.
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Ann Welker. I'm the sitting Suffolk County Legislator for the 2nd District, which encompasses the town of East Hampton and the majority of the town of Southampton. But importantly today, it also includes the shoreline stretching on the ocean beach from Montauk to nearly Mauritius Inlet, and on the bayside, again from Montauk Point to nearly the mouth of the Peconic River, and most importantly today, including the Little Peconic Bay and Great Peconic Bay. I stand here today as a former Southampton Town trustee, and I wish to express strong support for the amendment to Chapter 111, Article 6 of the Town Code, the proposal to ban docks on Peconic Bay. I applaud the supervisor and the members of the town board, the town environment department with the director, Marty Shea, the town planning and town planning department, planning and development director, Jenna Shearer, and the town attorney's office, Jim Burke and Kelly Doyle, for their decisive action that thus far, and for taking a stand against docks on the Peconic Bay shoreline. There is tremendous public support for this ban from the residents of the town, including many members that, as I'm speaking to them, just in 7-Eleven or in the deli, but also importantly, the North Sea Citizens Advisory Committee is also opposed to this. The Southampton Town trustees, one of the guiding principles was to allow for pass and repass. Docks prohibit that. We wish to, this is the allowance of pass and repass for our residents is of paramount importance. Banning the docks would allow, as stated previously, banning docks on the town's Peconic Bay shoreline would follow along with the lead of the town of Southold. That's an important part here. This construction of the sole dock that exists on Peconic Bay in the town of Southampton, which was regrettably approved by the New York State DEC, but built without the benefit of permits from the town of Southampton, flies in the face of guidance provided by New York State Coastal Management Program, Peconic Estuary Partnership's Comprehensive Conservation Management Plan, and, as stated previously, the Town of Southampton's Coastal Resources and Water Protection Plan. I urge the town board to go forward with this ban on docks on Peconic Bay, to continue the lawsuit against the property owner to have the structure removed, and finally, to once again move forward with a local waterfront revitalization plan, LWRP, following the lead of the towns of Southampton and East Hampton to provide further protection for our precious bay beaches. Thank you for your time and your attention to this critically important matter.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you very much, Ann.
Thank you.
I would say roughly about 56 years ago, I started to go up and down the bay with my father. If you remember, the first weak fish I caught was just a little bit east of Roberts Island. It was with my father and Don Onstead. And since then, I've been going up there. I still catch a lot of weak fish in the same spot. And it's amazing that all the last 56 years was no docks. Because if anyone knew about the bays there, Peconic Bay and Little Peconic Bay, the waves are deep, close together. The swells are very close together. And I have fished from probably, I would say, the Girl Scout camp all the way down the South Shore. I followed the ridge all the way down around Jessup's back inside, all the way to around North Haven and back then looking for fish over the years. I have come across boats on moorings sunk because they were left out there at night and a storm came through. Any boat owner who cares about their boat will not leave a boat on a dock in Peconic Bay. Even I see that in North Haven, any boats there, they're on lifts. And, you know, why would a neighbor want to look at a boat on a lift? Okay? It's like you say, oh, you decreased my value of my property because you can't let me have a dock. You did not buy that property to have a dock. You bought that property for the view. The bottom is owned by everyone in everyone in New York State, not for a homeowner to put a dock out into the bay. I mean, it's like when I think that people are crazy if they're going to tie a boat up there. I mean, I go to North Haven. I have customers who have docks in North Haven. They don't even use them. I try to tie up my boat. I can't because the tide runs so quick, and it could be flat calm. All of a sudden, you have a boat go up and down. You have more wake. You smash your boat, and you look down at the bottom. You can see where the tide goes around the big poles, because they have to have 2 or 3 big poles, because if you have one pole, like I was talking to Judge Buck about his dock, he said he had to have 2 or 3 cluster poles because of the ice, and one's rotten, you know. Maybe if that was such a good dock space, he would have rent that out. They're getting like $200 a foot, you know. It's like, it's not a good place to keep a boat. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the neighbors. It's not good for the view. It's not good for people walking up and down. You know, I heard everything. I was a trustee for 14 years. Problematic from Alan. We can't have a dock here. It's problematic. We need a lift, okay? But let's put green sand on the beach. That'll hold the sand. Okay, I heard all that crap. Okay? This is the worst crap I ever heard about putting a dock in Peconic Bay. You can have Martha Riker come up. She represented. She didn't even say it about the right of way on some parts of Peconic Bay up by the Girl Scout camp, where we fought about having a dock out there. Okay, it's not the right thing to do. And for me, I could never support putting docks out in the bay. It's just the wrong thing. And by the way, Andrew, can you put some pictures up for me, please? This is today. I mean, I wanted to see your pictures, but I had some more. This is today. This is at end of by Sabonic Inlet. Okay? That's looking to the east. That's looking to the west. Okay? Then we have a couple more. See the chunks of ice? That's what happens. They build up. They come and the wind blows them and they get thicker and thicker and thicker. I can remember 10, 15 years ago, I think 2015, last time we had a bad ice. They were huge. They were like 5 feet thick. And that, come and take. There's a, I don't know what that is. I was trying to figure out if that was a pole or buoy stuck in the ice. And the ice comes right along and it just cuts the buoys, the conch parts, the oyster thing. You have to sink them. This is North Sea Beach. We're putting a ramp in there for easy access. The highway is. So this is the other bay. You can see what the ice, you know, and we're gonna have another 2 weeks of cold weather, so these pictures will look different in 2 weeks. I stopped at Long Beach today, took pictures down at Long Beach. I saw an eagle sitting out on top of the ice. It's just like, it's not feasible. I mean, if you want to keep the construction people in business and consultants in the business, yeah, let's have docks. Because you'll be putting them in, getting permits to fix them, take them out, you know, and clean up the bay. And the shipyards, when I hit a pole in the water with my boat, so I think we got 2 letters in who support this, and all the rest of the letters were against this. And we have a half a dozen from homeowners. And another thing too, the beach nourishment at North Sea. How can you do beach nourish things to put more sand on the beach when you have docks? I was trying to figure that out, you know. Then we just have to have the docks removed, so, we can't dredge and put the sand up on the beach because there's the docks there. It's a hassle, you know. I'm done.
Well, thank you. Those were all
Thank you.
very good points, and we appreciated the photos. Now I'm going to ask Peter, is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to be heard at this public hearing?
Right now, there are 2 people.
Okay, thank you. Bring them on, please.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My name, I believe I know most of you. My name is Pete Topping. I'm the Baykeeper and Executive Director of Peconic Baykeeper. And for the record, we're an environmental non-for-profit dedicated to the protection of the East End's waters, and most specifically the Peconic Bays. And I'm here today to voice the organization's full support of Southampton's pursuit of adopting this legislation, and because it's really going to be beneficial to the entirety of the Peconic Estuary ecosystem. So our bay beaches and our town and our ocean beaches are without a doubt one of our greatest natural resources, and as Legislator Welker pointed out earlier, the Southampton trustees have jurisdiction over the ocean beaches. They remain largely public up to the toe of the dune. The bay beaches are only public up to the mean high water mark. So that really makes them extremely vulnerable to any augmentation that alters the shoreline. And that's going to impact the public's ability to pass and repass along the shorelines. In the 2020 Comprehensive Conservation Management Plan for the Peconic Estuary Partnership, they specifically state that the construction of hardened shorelines continues to be a major factor affecting the health of the Peconic Estuary's habitats. And the whole program has also documented a significant uptick of these hardened structures, and I will disagree with Mr. Chakunian about docks not being hardened structures. They are hardened structures. And what they've noticed is post-Sandy, there's been a huge uptick of these structures around the bays. I've actually fielded complaints to our organization about people that can no longer walk their private beaches. And this isn't docks, but it is other hardened shorelines because they're altering the deposition and accretion of and removal of sand. So with these dock structures, you're impeding critical habitat for spawning horseshoe crabs, nesting shorebirds, rare coastal plants, diamondback terrapins, and again, most universally important to the community is our right to public pass and repass along our beaches. I live about a quarter mile from the shore of Little Peconic Bay. Lots of private homeowners. I cannot imagine what my childhood would have been like had each of those homeowners had docks there. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the beach. I probably wouldn't be addressing you today because I wouldn't have had the same appreciation for this natural environment. Ironically, I wrote a couple of weeks ago that historically our bays would freeze over pretty much every year, and as recently as 2015, I just got back from somewhere much warmer earlier today, and I was surprised to see our bays are frozen over once again, and this will continue to happen. The shorelines of along Southampton are also, they face the brunt of Nor'easters, strong northwesterlies, which blow that broken up ice along the shoreline. They can also generate fairly large waves. And importantly, they also, most of that water along these shorelines is only 5 to maybe 10 feet deep.
30 seconds.
So you're not going to want to put a boat there anyway, and pretty much anything that gets built there is going to become a coastal liability to the community. So our bays and shorelines are not a real estate investment to be privatized for the benefit and the profit of the few. They are a vital part of our community, and thank you for your foresight in pursuing legislation to protect our shorelines.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Peter.
for coming.
Hello, my name is Isabel Fema. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I'm a resident, or my family has owned 67 East Shore Road for 58 years. We are neighbors to the two individuals who spoke in the meeting itself. So I have lived there my entire life. I have to admit, my opinion has changed throughout the course of this meeting. I came initially into it opposing the law because I have been concerned with the docks that are being built currently and with the current trend of erosion on the beach that we too should eventually consider building a dock. But what my neighbors have mentioned, particularly 63 and 65, is that what's made this place so beautiful has been this unimpeded view and this just unimpeded coastline our whole lives. And I would much rather now stop the buildings that we see, just a few paces down the beach. Those beaches are no longer inaccessible. My concern is, though, if a blanket ban is suitable when in 15 years, if we don't have a beach anymore, and what a blanket ban would prevent us from being able to do. Because as homeowners and landowners, we have a right to still have access or still put more of a platform in front of the water to enjoy our water views without a beach. And so I wonder if there are any middle ground solutions that can account for the properties that may eventually lose beach, that don't necessarily extend out into the water or cause further environmental damage. And so I wonder if there is more consideration that needs to be given to the design of this law and the ban, or what other middle ground solutions might exist in extreme circumstances. However, I just wanted to put on for the record that I came in one way and I am now in support of this regulation. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and I appreciate your efforts. My final point is, it would have been nice to have had this at a time when more of us could actually participate. The middle of winter is very difficult, so thank you.
Thank you.
Janice, could you just answer one of her questions? If she has a bulkhead, if they can put a platform on the lee side of the bulkhead?
Yes, those are land use issues. So we get into like the coastal water issue. The land use side is still a zoning issue, even when it's state waters. And then, as you know, there's some conservation board would usually have something to say because you're in the jurisdiction, as well as maybe adjacent area to the state if there's not a bulkhead. But you could have some type of, platform, typically.
Just wanted to make sure she realized her option's still there for a platform.
I think, there's a confusion between shoreline hardening and the dock. So we're talking about they get jumbled together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maria, there is one more person on Zoom.
All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I wasn't sure how to request how to speak. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. My name's Emma Angaro. I grew up at 59 Clearview Drive in Sag Harbor. It was my grandmother's property, so I'm a third generation there. And I grew up being able to go down to the water and the beach. We had an incredible stretch, and all of my childhood memories are being able to go down there and swim and hunt for shells with my grandmother. And over the years, due to erosion, we have lost the beach completely and access to the water. We were just hoping to be able to continue to enjoy the bay through a dock, and it would absolutely change our quality of life out there. It was really the best part of the house. It was the beach itself, and now that we no longer have it, it is a pretty big bummer. So just wanted to speak on that as someone with a home that no longer has beach access. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I actually have a question about that, Jim. If the property owner owns to the mean high water mark, right? And there's a bulkhead, so technically your property would be below the mean high water mark. Right?
Above.
But in other words, if you didn't have that bulkhead, that high water line would be on your property.
Yes.
That's where, I mean, it gets questionable. So like when you're saying, when your beach access is gone and now your only way to access is through a dock, technically, there's no beach access for the public, but your property is now the barrier to what would have been reclaimed and become part of the shoreline, right?
But if you did not have a bulkhead there, the bluff would have kept on renourishment the beach. So when you put that bulkhead there, you made a stand, okay? Erosion came because water hits the bulkhead and it washes it away, and you lost your beach. If you did not have that bulkhead, you would still have sand from the bluff and you would still have a beach. You want to explain it better than I can, Janice?
No, but so I'm just basically just saying, like, when you're saying, like, you own to the mean high water mark, when there's a beach to make that delineation, but when there's no beach to make that delineation, technically your property is already below that.
And I think Kelly touched on a little bit, and Marty has said this in the past, there are other options, and Janice just touched on it a little bit too.
Your microphone.
Mic on.
There's other options to docks to be able to utilize, you know, your area there, your waterfront area besides putting up a dock. Marty had given examples to the Department of State. Kelly touched on it a little bit today, and you know, and Janice has touched on it too. So, yeah, it's not you know, docks or nothing. There's some other things that can be done.
Well, why don't we, well, you said twice that you wanted to look into some things with Kelly.
Yes, yeah, I have, because, you know, as somebody who's been in municipal law for as long as I have, to see this area and say, well, you know, now they're building docks, like Bill had mentioned, like, why now? Why not 50 years ago? If you could do it, then why didn't it happen 50 years ago? So that was a question I had, and Kelly and I have been looking into it. We've talked to some of the other towns. We've talked to Southold. I had reached out initially with Heather Lanza, who's the head of planning for Southold, and talked to her a little bit, and we wanted to talk to the supervisor. I can certainly reach out to Greg as well. And I did have a meeting with the DEC, and they were asking us what we were, you know, trying to coordinate with them. They were looking for what we were going to do, and that was in between the positions that the Department of State had taken on this. They had, that Aram had mentioned, they did approve one of the docks, and now they've kind of flipped their position on that. So yeah, we'll obviously talk with both, with the state departments, Department of State, Department Environmental Conservation, make sure that we're in line with them. And
So we'll close the public hearing, but leave it open
Sure.
for, how much time do you think, a month?
that would be
Or-
fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll move to close the public hearing, but leave it open for written comments and discussions with our town attorneys for 30 days.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Just wait a minute while we clear the room.
I put this into the record? Yes. Okay, that's what the contract that's there now.
Okay.
And there's two of them. The main thing is, there's nothing in the direction. Okay. And that's sort of just sticking out.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
I'm the town clerk, Cindy Schermeyer. There we go. Thank you so much.
Sit out on the dock. You know what I mean?
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the second public hearing?
Certainly. Public hearing number 2, to amend Chapter 111 in connection with special parking permits.
We have Kristen Doulos here for this public hearing.
How are you today?
We just want to
Good,
make
thank
sure
you.
that.
All right.
You can get out and.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Good afternoon. I'm Kristen Doulos, the Town Parks Director. We're here today to consider amending Chapter 111-4 of the Town Code, Section E, to continue allowing Village of Sag Harbor residents to acquire a beach parking permit to park at Foster Memorial Long Beach in Noyak. However, it would no longer allow them to park at Town of Southampton Ocean Beaches, including Scott Cameron, Sagmain, and Mecox Beach.
Oh, Kristen, I thought that it was, they could buy the non-resident passes for those locations. That's not the case?
No, they can't.
Yes, they just wouldn't be able to continue to get them at the resident rate.
Okay.
So anyone who lives in the town of, the Village of Sag Harbor, but are East Hampton town residents, would still have access to purchase the Long Beach permit at a resident rate. They could still purchase our town permit at a non-resident rate to access those other locations and park. So I just want to state that, anyone can go to the beach. This is for parking at the beach, so people could still take an Uber, get dropped off. The 3 beaches that we're looking to remove this courtesy from, they're 3 of our smallest parking lots. Scott Cameron has 58 spaces. Mecox has just over 100. So there's lines out of these at the access gates every weekend in the summer, and we've heard from residents, they really want to preserve this for their parking and priority, given that they are the taxpayers and residents of the town of Southampton. So that's what this is seeking to do. I don't know if there's any
Kristen,
questions.
if I could ask, thank you, thanks. If I could ask if you could perhaps reread what's being deleted here. I don't know if we can do it right now or not, but the way I read it, they can't buy it, resident of the Sag Harbor, the East Hampton side of Sag Harbor can't buy it even at a non-resident rate.
They can buy it at a non-resident rate. What this amendment had stated was that they would get a rate less the established by the annual fee schedule. So they were getting a break on the non-resident rate in this amendment. They could still buy it at what everyone else pays for a non-resident rate.
Great.
So
Then
in,
the last half of that line that's eliminated, or the first half of
So
that
we're-
line may need to stay in, the way I'm reading it.
No, because we're not giving them the opportunity to buy at the resident rate at those other beaches like Scott Cameron, whereas they were able to previously. Now they will not, only they will be able to receive the resident rate at Foster Memorial.
Right.
correct, but I think what you're speaking to is the line where it says, or they may purchase a non-resident beach parking permit at the rate established for non-residents, less the rate established by the annual fee schedule for a resident beach parking permit. So in other words, if a non-resident beach pass was $400 and a resident beach pass was $50, they could have bought a non-resident pass for $350. So it was the non-resident rate minus the
Taking-
resident rate, which
Taking the whole line out.
would defer
They
back
can buy it
to,
at a non-resident rate.
correct, it would be the full non-resident rate,
Okay. Okay.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to point out that as we had a work session on this and we had a conversation about it, there was, the beaches operate as an enterprise fund. The permits help to pay for our lifeguards, our trash pickup, everything else that goes along with the beaches. And the residents, the non-resident stickers that were sold under this saw a loss of revenue of over $100,000 from that fund. And, as we look to potentially, make things easier for town residents to access and have services, with this as an enterprise fund with that much of a loss of revenue, we would potentially have to look at funding these through taxpayer funds. So, to ask the taxpayers of the town of Southampton to subsidize a service for East Hampton town residents when they can still access these beaches, they can still get dropped off there, like you said, they can bike there, they can go with their friends. If you go to high school in Sag Harbor and you have friends that live on the Southampton town side of the Sag Harbor Village, you can by all means get in their car, go to the beach with them. Nobody's, checking to make sure you're a resident of Southampton. This is just a park at the beach.
Correct, and I just want to reiterate that it would still be the resident rate to get a permit to park at Foster Memorial Long Beach, because I think there's been some confusion about that. So I just want people to know that is remaining. It was part of the deed that was left by the Foster family, that the Village of Sag Harbor residents be extended the same rights as Southampton town residents. So that will remain. It's just the town of Southampton ocean beaches.
And I also wanted to point out, not that that's why we're doing this, but currently Southampton town residents in Sag Harbor Village are not granted access to any town of East Hampton beaches at their town rate either.
Correct.
And are you to talk about the rates as well today, or not?
I didn't know if you wanted me to come up during the resolution for that, or if you want me to speak to it now.
I mean, we already did it during the work session, so I don't think it's necessary, but I don't know if that's not covered by this public hearing, so disregard. Okay.
I'll stay around, though, if you want to call me up during that as
Okay,
well.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Alright. Well, I do have one card for this public hearing, Megan Toy. Are you, oh, this is for the public comment, but you meant it for this public hearing?
Yes, for
Okay.
this topic, I'm sorry.
All right.
All right, hi, my name is Megan Toy. I am a second-generation Sag Harbor resident at 199 Germain Avenue. That is on the East Hampton side. I've grown up going to Sag Main my entire life. Every summer, I usually spend most mornings going to the ocean, Sag Main or Ocean Road for exercise. It's also like my religion. I'm not I don't have an organized religion, but I believe being close to nature is my
my greatest human connection to God. Excuse me. I'd like to point out that East Hampton resident beach permits are free, Councilman McNamara. Southampton resident permits are $50, which I've gladly paid. There's 1 or 2 routes from Sag Harbor to East Hampton. It's 114, and in the summertime, that is a treacherous trek to take. With that free resident permit, I don't think I went to East Hampton at all last summer. I go straight, it's closer to go to Southampton towns. Is Southampton that strapped for cash? A quick Google search showed that no, they have a surplus of $51 million. I feel very unprepared for this meeting because I just read about it in the paper on Thursday, and then I was checking the agendas and it didn't pop up for me every day. I checked and it didn't pop up that this was actually happening today until yesterday, after a big snowstorm. Lots of confusion and it's tough. I didn't know Zoom was, thank you Sunday for responding to my email at 11 a.m. this morning that this was happening. My family and I live under my father's roof with my 2 older sisters because we can't afford to live on our own. This time of cost of living has never been higher, and it just seems to be getting worse. And to take away the easiest form of me to get to the ocean, where when I'm there, I'm picking up trash of my own free will, no applause, no credit. And I'm just doing that because I love this place. And I wish there were more people, my neighbors, to speak today. Because I know that a lot of my neighbors on the East Hampton side are doing the same things that I'm doing, which is showing deep, profound respect to these beaches in Southampton town. Because it is my closest connection to a higher power, I swear. Closest beach with a lifeguard in East Hampton town is Indian Wells, which is a 20-minute drive on a good day in the off-season, but 45 minutes to potentially over an hour drive on a busy summer day. I can promise you that I'm not at the ocean on a weekend when a lot of people are at the ocean, because both my sisters and my father are all working full-time, multiple jobs, in order to just stay afloat. I feel like, I'm not a resident of Southampton town, but all of my jobs have been in Southampton town. I canvass for Southampton town politicians. I truly care about this region the way you guys say that you love your East Hampton neighbors.
4 minutes.
This feels like it feels like you don't want me to stay. And I'm fighting really hard to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. All right, Daniel Marsili.
Well, thank you for encouraging public comment. So my name is Daniel Marsili, for the record. I'm at 10 Yale Road in Sag Harbor. I'm a year-round resident of the village, and I am a Southampton town taxpayer, and the parent of 2 7th graders at Pearson Middle High. And I'm before you today as a Southampton town resident, speaking only for myself and for my family independently. So I am here regarding the council's consideration of ending that long-standing courtesy extended to our East Hampton town resident neighbors in Sag Harbor Village, the ability to purchase resident beaches at the resident cost. So for decades, I understand this courtesy has helped keep Sag Harbor neighbors together as they enjoy our beaches. So I'd like to share a few relevant publicly available data points just for context, and then I'll close. I believe in Sag Harbor Village, it's unusual, obviously, that we're split down Division Street with two towns, something that you don't really talk about much, except for in these kind of unique, very unique matters. It seems to me that about 40% of our village is in East Hampton, the majority in Southampton. But what's really important to know is that our school district, of course, extends way through to Noyak. Most of Southampton Village is where our school kids are from. Very few are from the East Hampton Village, comparatively speaking. So that percentage, 40-60, again, I'm approximate, I'm not studying the maps, but that's what's published. It's a much higher percentage of Southampton kids that are in school with the minority, very minority of East Hampton Village kids, or East Hampton Town kids in Sag Harbor Village. So the other thing that's really important, I'm not sure if the council had time to consider, is the largest area of the East Hampton side of the village includes Sands and the Eastville neighborhoods. You know, of course, these are the historically African-American neighborhoods of our village. And today, those homes are some of Sag Harbor's more modest homes, where they're more likely to be owned and rented by working-class families and people who service our community. We're talking about police, nurses, landscapers, teachers. So it's important to remember that that district that we have is highly focused on inclusion, and that represents a big piece of the diversity of our village. So by changing this longstanding policy, what I think the council risks unintentionally is a disproportionately affecting these working-class families in that neighborhood.
30 seconds.
And importantly, the childhood friendships that have been connecting our community. I think the difference is $50 and $500. It's not inconsequential. And when families that are working are squeezed so immeasurably, I think that can force a practical choice where they won't come. And I do think it separates a lot. So on a practical level, I heard $100,000 quoted. Maybe there's a workaround. Maybe kids of the school district could be exempted from that if they live on the East Hampton side. But I do think tradition's important, and this is an important tradition that's been long-standing and is an important part of keeping our community together, particularly diverse parts of our community. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen, I just have a quick question for you. How long have these residents been able to buy this permit at the Southampton town rate?
I'm not sure of that. I know that the code was amended about 6 years ago to amend it to what it is now. So I don't know how long it was prior to that. I was here when it was amended about 6 years ago.
Okay. And then the other thing that's not for you, but the other thing I just wanted to point out is from basically the Shinnecock Canal, all of our Southampton town residents, the closest beach, these are really the only beaches that they have access to because they don't have access until hopefully later today. The town hasn't had any beachfront in Southampton Village, which is a very long stretch of shoreline. So these beaches are predominantly Noyak, North Sea, all of those residents, Southampton outside of the village residents, all use these beaches. And Scott W. Cameron is supposed to be a resident-only beach. It's the only resident-only beach we have in the town of Southampton.
Yes, that's correct. And the village of Sagaponack is also included in that. Yeah, so these are, like I said, we have 9 lifeguarded beaches. These are 3 of the smallest. There's one other that's approximate size, Hot Dog Beach in East Quogue. So the capacity is, low. About 120 at Mecox. I think it's 170 at Sag Main and 58 at Scott Cameron compared to 575 at Ponquag Beach, 878 at Tiana Beach. So there is an issue with capacity, particularly on the weekends, holidays, where line control comes into effect. There's people waiting, one in, one out. And we have heard from residents in those areas wondering why people who are East Hampton residents are able to have the resident permit and, be able to get access before them at times or add to the capacity of these beaches. So, as you said, there is a monetary factor, but that's not really the impetus for this. It's, the fact that the beaches have and continue to be very crowded, and that we're also trying to listen to the concerns of some of the local civic groups and residents.
And if I could jump in there, I met with Bridgehampton Civic last night, and this was way up on their list of concerns, is the lack of access to beach parking.
And I'm happy to reach out to, Sag Harbor Village, because I mean, they've been great. They've partnered with us on many things, asking them to use the money that they were potentially going to put into this that we haven't seen, but ask them to put that money into potentially having a shuttle maybe from, Pearson to the beaches on a rotating basis so that those kids can still access the beach, but Sag Harbor Village could provide a shuttle for them to get them to the beach.
I will say that I did have conversations with the mayor who reached out to me after this. I did say that this was, should reach out to you, this was your legislation. I did, hear from him that he'd be willing to speak with us to work something out if we are open to that.
And I think a shuttle might be a nice compromise here,
Yeah, would you say this is really just an issue on the weekends? And had you considered perhaps giving them a resident rate pass, but limited it to Monday to Thursdays?
It just becomes difficult with
Enforcement.
all the different types of beach permits we have and enforcement of all these varying beach permits and conditions for each one of them.
That was one of the other things we looked at when we looked at this was, this was a broader Parks Department kind of ask that the different permits that we have for different types of residents and different, situations was kind of getting it down to a manageable number of permits as to, resident, non-resident, and then we have the Foster Long Beach one, so it's,
Yeah, it would just add another different type of permit into the mix. That is not as easy as it sounds.
I think a shuttle might be a nice question to ask the village.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yes, hi.
Angela Inzerillo. I'm also I live on 10 Ackerley Street on the East Hampton side, and actually Megan and I are neighbors, right? And I also just got privy to this when I read about it in the East Hampton Star, that and some of the data points actually were, I felt, not representative of what our community is, because obviously I am a Sag Harbor Village resident, and as the fellow pointed out, that I pay taxes into basically 60 to 70% of Southampton and so that's one.
I think so.
For different data points. But in terms of accessing the beach, I think the Express mentioned there were 900 homes that are on the East Hampton side. And for us, that's very few. And being a working person, as I am, if I get to go down to the ocean twice a year, that's great. I definitely go down to Long Beach a little more because it's closer. And as I think we all know, the amount of traffic in the summer, it could be abhorrent and not worth going down there. So we tend to actually access, as a local person that actually lives here, we tend to access it in the off-season, which is when other people probably don't. And what I'm more concerned about is, so I was appreciative of the fact that, I don't know how this negotiation came out, but for $50, we got to access 2 ocean beaches, which I was happy for. And now you're saying there's none, unless I pay $500.
No, you can still go to the Long Beach, Long Beach.
But if I wanted to go to an ocean beach, that's a $500.
I see.
Unless you
Okay.
take the free town
I
permit.
understand. I can still go, and I can still go to Havens Beach, which I do walk to. Because that's actually free.
30 seconds.
And, but to say an increase from $50 to $500, I would think that the board should really think about their own constituents, because we are a part of your constituents. And at anything, I called the village today because I read, when I finally got to read the paper today, if Kathleen Mahaney did not pay that $10,000, I called Tim Gardenia and I said, where is our representatives for us? For our village, for the East Hampton side. So I came down here immediately to represent. I'm putting together a list of people that I'll get signatures but I would like to keep this conversation open, because if it's a matter of money.
4 minutes.
If it's a matter of money and Sag Harbor Village needs to however it is, you'll reconcile your budgets together, because it is a little bit of a convoluted thing, then I feel like we can reconcile that. But to say to go from $50 to $500, I mean, as people who know that living out here as a regular person it's not easy. Most of the people that are taking up your passes come out, I don't know. I think we all know they have enough money to just throw it around. But the people that actually value
5 minutes.
this are the people that live here on a daily basis, and I am one of them. And I will continue to fight for this, and I will have the mayor come down. Gardella, he'll come, I couldn't get him down here today, and I don't know if he's zooming in, but this should be a held open conversation at the very least. Because we only got told about it 2 days ago through a paper, and I do read the paper.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that.
Peter, is there anyone on Zoom for this public hearing?
No one with their hand up.
Well, I know there was a resolution on for today, but I'm going to move to close the public hearing, but leave it open for public comments for a couple more weeks.
I will just say that we put this on because we're ordering permits and we have to move forward, and we're gonna start selling beach permits, and that's why this was put on.
But 2 weeks.
Man, you can't come back up. This is,
I don't think is 2 weeks going to make a difference, Kristen.
Your previous
I'm sorry,
Hold on.
if you want to.
thing about the docks was, and I thought.
for
someone-
Southampton, for residents, yes.
And I thought someone brought up a good point, is that you're bringing this up in the middle of the winter when actually a lot of people are not tuned in. So the fact that you're kind of doing it now, of course, local people.
We're doing this now because we're setting our rates for the coming year, and we're ordering permits, and that's why this is being done now. It's not being done to dupe East Hampton town residents. It's not being done for any other reason. We have to set our rates. We also, excuse me, ma'am, I'm not gonna have a back and forth with you. We also have a resolution on today setting our rates for the upcoming season, and this is on that resolution as well. So we can't set the rates unless we amend that fee schedule as well.
Kristen.
As you said, we were trying to establish this because we do have to start setting the permits, the rates online in our software systems. I'll leave it to you if you want to keep it open for 2 weeks, but we do start selling in March, so.
Could we at least wait until we have some sort of substantive discussion with the mayor on this? Given that he has expressed to me that he'd be willing to work something out, I understand that something of a shuttle was mentioned, but if the village is willing to help in some way, I don't know if that's something we're open to.
I just want to go back, I'm sympathetic to all these comments. I understand what they're saying, but for me, it just goes back to the capacity at our beaches and trying to reserve that to residents of the town of Southampton. We don't have access to town of East Hampton beaches. Our Sag Harbor Village residents on the Southampton side don't have access to East Hampton beaches. So we're just trying to.
True. You can pay a non-resident.
You can in Southampton as well. Well, yes, but we don't get special resident rates. We could, I assume could do non-resident permits there. We do have daily permits as well in the town of Southampton for $40 a day. So that's another way that people can purchase parking at our beaches.
But if somebody were to bike down or get a ride down, get dropped off, there's no charge?
No, it's
Just to park your car.
the permit is for parking a vehicle at the beach.
And we currently have Southampton Town residents waiting online to park at a resident-only beach.
Correct. And this has come up in Noyak Civic Council, Bridgehampton Civic, where they can't get into these beaches, and they see a lot of these, what was called the Long Beach permit.
Ma'am, you cannot speak from there, okay?
I'm sorry. May I?
No, you
No.
no.
I'm sorry. You're way over the 3 minutes already, so you just keep with our.
Yeah, we have, cars lined up, as I said, it represents
I mean,
issues. Line control, we have to have attendants, walking up and down lines, spotters looking for spots in the lots.
So you need this approved today?
It would be helpful, I mean,
If we didn't approve this, we would also have to hold off on the fee schedule, adopting that as well.
yes.
Which needs to be done today?
Well, again, it's just, we're trying to get ready to sell ASAP, as we always do. And this year, we were really trying to encourage people to buy it online, digitally. We're trying to go towards those platforms. So the longer, we keep this open, it will delay that process. But this is, defer to you.
Is it possible to approve all the other, this is the sticking point, is this one rate? Would there be any advantage to getting the other ones started or not?
Not really,
Okay.
because when we put in tickets to our software company and stuff, we'll want to make sure everything is what we want it to be at that point.
Okay.
Well, we can still speak with the mayor, even if we
Correct.
close the public hearing. You've already spoken with them.
And
Follow up.
I will tell you that, separate from, my role as a town board member, but as a resident of Sag Harbor, I've been working a little bit with some folks at the Chamber of Commerce and other businesses in the village, and had a couple of brief conversations with the mayor about a shuttle that they're envisioning essentially within the village to work on their parking issue. And I've been giving them a little help. Hasn't talked about going down to the beach, but there are some conversations about something there, and there may be a way, again, jumping ahead a little bit, there may be a way to somehow figure out a way to get that down, to Sag Main or, something.
Tom, is that area covered by the on-demand county bus?
Not Bridgehampton,
No?
not Scott Cameron.
It can't get you down there. That's.
But
one of the-
that's something that we could look into.
Right.
County?
And there's, some Assemblyman Schiavone has been able to obtain some funds for this intra-village shuttle. We may be able to say that it can, expand. I don't know exactly how those funds are being allocated. There's still frankly, not enough funds to pay for the whole thing yet.
Yeah.
So there'd be some conversations to be had, but we have started that conversation. I'm expecting to have another meeting with them, and, if I know the town board is interested in pursuing this conversation, I can certainly make sure we get that on the table and see if we can somehow work that in.
I do also want to mention that a beach parking permit is not required between September 16th and May 14th.
What did you say, September to May?
Yeah, September 16th to May 14th. And that's at lifeguarded beaches. On the trustee access roads, you can park there before 9 a.m. and after 6 p.m. in season as well.
Oh, could you repeat that?
At access roads such as Peters Pond and Ocean Road, you can park there before 9 a.m. and after 6 p.m., even in season. And Gibson Lane is another one.
I would like to close and move forward with this, and, so we can adopt the fee schedule, and then we can also have conversations with the mayor and the village. They're not gonna come to any decision on anything in 2 weeks anyway. So I think for the Parks Department to move ahead with, issuing permits to town residents, I think I would like to close this and move forward and have separate conversations with the village on what we can do with them moving forward.
When is our next scheduled public meeting?
February 9th. 10th.
Hold on,
February 10th.
ma'am, hold on. Unfortunately, the public, I know, but the public comment section for the hearing is over. So just, we are deliberating right now, so hold on one moment, okay?
Sorry, there's someone who just said they want to talk on Zoom.
Okay, February 10th.
Okay.
They declined twice, so you can
Oh.
move on.
Okay. All right, so you have,
I mean, my thing is would February 10th really hold things up quite significantly?
We're not gonna get anything worked out in that short time of pan, and then if we don't have anything worked out by February 10th, then will we hold it over for another 2 They have to order permits, they have to get moving on this
I
stuff.
understand that.
ended on the 10th.
It's a lengthy process to get this stuff into the computer system and get it all loaded for the LPRs and all of that, so.
I understand that the civic organizations, Bridgehampton, Tom, you were there yesterday, certainly have raised concerns about capacity at Scott Cameron in particular.
Yeah.
So I understand.
North Sea has concerns as well.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Generally speaking, there are hamlet concerns of the capacity at these parks. My concern is the timing. The folks are reading about it, and they wish that they had known about it a little bit sooner.
Well, had they participated in our town CACs and our hamlets, they would have been aware of it, because we generally don't make public hearing notices and things of
No, I
this
know.
nature out of town residents. It's,
But
I understand your
Not
concerns.
everybody can attend a
I
civic
understand your
meeting either,
concerns, that,
but-
the village, I did make the village board aware of this before we move forward. And I let them know, and I think, honestly, a potential thing here would be for the village to provide a shuttle from Long Beach to Sag Main. And then they can still get the permit, they could still get the permit at the resident rate for Long Beach, and then they can get the shuttle to Sag Main. So, I think that's a possible, again, but I don't know that we're gonna work that out in 2 weeks.
So keep it open to the public. And let them negotiate with the village.
Okay, we can't hear people from
Well, I
the
know.
audience.
I would just like to close it.
You don't get picked up on the the screens. I mean, weeks. It's not gonna,
And then we have this again on
no,
February 10th.
no, don't leave it
No
open.
public portion
Don't, well,
when we vote on it.
that's true. Well, we're gonna move to close the public hearing today, and with the assurance that we're gonna speak with the mayor about shuttle buses and look into whether we can have the on-call bus, on-demand buses available for this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just close the public hearing?
We're just closing the public hearing.
Does that mean there'll be no more
Are
discussion
you
later?
not voting?
Correct.
I'd rather keep it for 2 weeks.
You wanna?
For
okay.
written comments?
All right, so then there's an
written?
alternate, you want to close the public hearing, but leave it open for 2 weeks for written comments?
Yeah.
Is that what you're suggesting? Okay. Does anybody want to second
with
that?
I'll second that.
Is everyone voting?
So then we'll table the other two later on.
Yeah, all in favor, so you see that's the resolution, to close the public hearing, but leave it open for written comments for 2 weeks, and in that time, we'll speak with the mayor as well.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the third public hearing?
Certainly. Public hearing number 3, to consider a change in non-conforming use at 60 South Country Road from repair machine shop to office in the hamlet of Quiog.
Anywhere.
Thank you.
Welcome. You guys presenting this?
Janice?
Quiog.
The machine shop.
Non-conforming use.
Good afternoon, Teresa Mason from the Planning Division. This is a request to change one nonconforming use to another nonconforming use at the property known as 60 South Country Road in Quiog. It is adjacent to, or actually is part of the Quogue West Tourism Recreational Plan Development District. It is also residentially zoned in a CR, I believe, 40 zoning district. I have to double check my notes for that. What is currently existing is an automotive repair shop and some unauthorized outdoor storage of HVAC equipment. And the applicant is seeking to remove the unauthorized outdoor storage, demolish the existing automotive repair shop, and construct a 3,000 square foot office in this residential zone. It is not really eligible or sufficient size to qualify for uses under the PDD, which was enacted of the town's own volition for the restoration of the area. So they are seeking to reduce the intensity of the use by allowing for office space rather than the automotive repair shop. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. And there is an aerial photograph here. There's the site plan that shows the proposed office and parking. And then there's an elevation of the front of the building so that you can take a look at what it might look like. And then also the applicant's representative is here, Joe Lombardi.
Thank you. And I just want to mention, Teresa, that the storage units that are featured on site, the owner will be taking those away.
Correct.
With this renovation, right?
That's correct, because they're going to be putting the parking back there.
And then the new structure will be quite aesthetically pleasing. And I want to mention that last year, Joe and some of the other folks in planning did attend a CAC West meeting where this was discussed and reviewed with the community, and everybody seemed pretty amenable and supportive.
Right. And then we did have a work session at the beginning of December
Correct.
as well on this application.
The planning board has sent a memo. I think they support that. They said they support it, but they talked about having an environmental assessment done as a condition
Right, so this particular area of Quiog, there has been some past bad practices, and the site next door, which is a larger site, is undergoing the process of site plan review for a subdivision and a site plan for recreational car club. There's some remediation that needed to be done. The PDD encompassed this specific property as well as some adjacent properties because of the remediation was required pursuant to the PDD. It's recommended for this particular site, even though it's not part of, they're not requesting a redevelopment under the PDD, but because of some of the past practices in the community in this particular area, including on this site, they had recommended an environmental site assessment just to do some soil testing, make sure any contamination gets cleaned up. Any other questions?
I'm good.
And the Suffolk County Planning Commission said it was local determination?
You know, I haven't actually received anything yet. Perhaps Kim has received something? No? Okay, so I guess we're still waiting on that then. But the planning board has weighed in, and I guess we're just waiting on the planning commission.
The planning board was supportive, you said? of the-
Yes, they were generally supportive. Mhm.
Okay. Well, I don't have any cards for this public hearing. Peter, is there anyone on Zoom?
Does Joe want to mention anything, or?
Does the applicant want to present?
Oh, sure. Come on up.
Zoom, by the way.
Good afternoon. Joe Lombardi from the Rayner Group on behalf of the applicant. There were a couple of comments made during the CAC meeting. Some people were concerned with potential traffic. But this site is surrounded by Chesterfield Associates, a marine and engineering firm. The proposed office building will actually serve that company. So there really won't be any additional traffic. It'll be people who are going to that site anyway, that will be using the new office. The other thing is, there's very little vegetation in front of the property, and there's also storage over here. That's all going to be removed, and there'll be a nice buffer planted in front along South Country Road.
Oh, good. That's nice to
They were
hear.
pleased with your plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So Peter, did you say there is somebody?
No one.
Oh, no one on Zoom.
I think that the Chesterfield family that will do an excellent job there. Whatever, all the work they have done for the town and for other people, always been top shelf. And, they're going to clean up this piece of property they own for years. I've been on this property over the years, on and off. And I think that they deserve to have a nice office, and even if Seth likes to work out of his pickup truck. But, I think the neighborhood deserved to to be cleaned up there.
Yeah, it'll be a big improvement. All right, well, if there's no other comments, then I move to close the public hearing, but leave it open for 2 weeks only for the agency comments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the fourth and final public hearing?
Public hearing number 4, to consider improvements to the Hampton Bays Water District pursuant to Town Law, Section 202-B.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good afternoon, members of the Town Board. This public hearing is being held pursuant to New York State Town Law, Section 202B, and in furtherance of proposed improvements to the Hampton Bays Water District infrastructure. Specifically, the improvements proposed to the Hampton Bays Water District facilities are replacement of the district's water meters, the drilling of a new well number 6, district-wide improvements to the distribution system, rehabilitation of the elevated storage tank at plant number 2, the installation of a new office generator, and upgrades to the plant number 1 fueling station. The maximum cost of such improvements, which shall be assessed against the benefited properties within the Hampton Bays Water District, is $4,155,000. In accordance with New York State Town Law, a plan and cost estimate for these proposed improvements was prepared by H2M Architects and Engineers and is on file in the Town Clerk's office for public review and inspection. The purpose of this public hearing is to hear any public comment as it relates to these improvements and their associated cost. If the board is so inclined, there is a resolution on the agenda later today authorizing the improvement to the facilities as described for your consideration, as well as a bond resolution. In addition, the town's consulting engineer, Chris Weber of H2M, is here if you have any further questions.
Thank you. Chris, did you want to say anything, or do you want to just be available for questions? Okay. Well, I don't have any cards on this one. Peter, is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak?
No one.
I did have one question, just to make you get up. And I don't have the history that many of the board members do on this, so
It's a pleasure being
please forgive me if I'm asking a question that you've already answered. You have $1,730,000 to the rehabilitation of a storage tank.
Yes.
I presume you've looked and determined it's better to rehabilitate what's there than to build something new, is that?
Correct, yeah, routinely, across multiple water districts and water departments in Long Island and the United States, it just makes financial sense to rehab, and you undergo numerous rehabilitations before you get to the point where you're looking at doing a full knockdown and rebuild. You're talking about probably three times, 4 times the cost to do a knockdown rebuild, plus you're looking at additional remediation. So this is the standard MO to operation.
Gives you a significant number more years of operation then?
Right. So all these tanks are built with rehabilitation in mind to extend the length of their lives. Typically, you're looking at a rehabilitation every 5 to 10 years, depending on obviously, what's going on in terms of environmental impacts, as well as just how the coating's actually holding up. But
okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
No, I mean, these were all laid out by James Cappers in his budget request and reviewed and approved by the board. Now, we just wanted the people of Hampton Bays and in general the town to have an opportunity to ask questions.
Understood.
But it doesn't appear that anyone's coming today for that. Does anyone else have any questions?
It's just worth pointing out that this is part of a multi-year, very large capital project that was,
Yes, this has been part of the 10-year capital plan that we put together, and we're following along that pathway accordingly.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for all you do to support the water district.
My pleasure.
to secure grant money for a lot of this stuff,
Yes.
so.
Glad to help.
Thanks.
All right, so if there's no other comments, then I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us to public portion. I don't have any cards. Peter, is anybody on Zoom for public portion?
No one with the hand up.
Did you say no one with the hand up?
Yes, hand up.
That's right. No one.
No one. All right, then I move to close public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move ahead with the resolutions then.
All right, I think that's me.
You get us started, Cindy.
I know, I'm getting there. No, you gotta get through the summary first. Town Board Resolution 212 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely. Authorize supervisor to sign contract extension for invasive vegetative control and removal with Coastal Commercial Property Management, Inc.
Who's going to second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 208 of 2026, authorize supervisor to sign contract extension with J Mill Management, Inc. for the 2026 summer season for a concession at Ponquag Beach, Hampton Bays.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 207 of 2026, co-sponsored with Supervisor Moore, Authorize upgrade of infrastructure of 33 Beach Road, Hampton Bays, Shinnecock Dock, from Source Pass Contemporary LLC using GSA and Omnia Partners contracts.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-0205, authorize supervisor to sign 2026 contract with Suffolk County Office for the Aging to receive senior citizen nutrition program funding.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Town Board Resolution 2026-0204, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell, to authorize payment of various utility company fees associated with the construction of the West Hampton Activity Center.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 203 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell, authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement extension with John Dunn of Shell Works LLC and West Robbins Oyster Company Incorporated for the use of a portion of the Conscience Point Marina in furtherance of aquaculture activities.
This is I second it, and this is just a renewal. People are watching.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0202, authorize supervisor to sign any and all documents pertaining to the 2026 shopping assistance contract with Suffolk County Office for the Aging.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Resolution 2026-0130, co-sponsored with Michael. Authorize the award engineer design and permit and service for trout pond culvert replacement and fish patches to L.K. McLean Associate Engineer and Survey DPC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can't wait to get that
I
going.
know. Mike will have to do a report on that.
Town Board Resolution 2026-10126, to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract extension with Quogue Sinclair for supply number 2 fuel oil service and repair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-0119, authorized purchase of a wheel loader and grapple bucket from Comanus American Corp. Using Sourcewell contract. It's a payloader. We traded in 2 payloaders, they get a big one.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0116, to authorize purchases from Commercial Instrumentation SVC using the Suffolk County contracts.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0104, to authorize purchases of industrial and commercial equipment and supplies from Choice Distribution, Telephone Consulting Services of Long Island Corp., Fastenal Company, HD Supply Facilities Maintenance, Home Depot USA, Lawson Products, and WW Granger.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 117 of 2026, authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension with Questmark Information Management, Inc. for printing and mailing of Hampton Bays Water District bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 2026-0028, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to declare items surplus and to authorize the disposal of vehicles.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0175, co-sponsored by Councilmembers Iacilli and Pell, to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Arcadis New York, Inc. to provide additional professional municipal engineering design services for the Riverside Sewage Treatment Plant project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're going to have a community meeting in March, details to follow.
Very exciting.
Very exciting to get that done.
Was that the one, was part of that to authorize them to do that?
They're going to, this will authorize them to take it all the way through the bidding process and to do an analysis of the bid, so we'll be ready to award the contract when this is done. Town Board Resolution 2026-0158, to authorize purchases of marine equipment and supplies from West Marine Products, Inc., using the Sourcewell contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0211, to authorize the supervisor to execute, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to execute cooperative agreements with neighboring villages for the town to provide fire investigation services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 209 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely, authorize American Water Works Association membership renewal for Hampton Bays Water District Superintendent.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0206, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to authorize the purchase of local and cloud backup solution for town police and town hall from Software House International, Inc., using the Sourcewell contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 200 of 2026, authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Jacqueline LaFazia to provide art class instruction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 2026-0201, to retain David Arnston, Esquire, of the law offices of Voles Bigliota, PLLC, for all matters involving sand mines in the town of Southampton for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0210, to recall and amend Resolution Number 2025-217, to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents with PaySafe Payment Processing Solutions, LLC, for processing of fees for various programs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 237 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely. Recall and amend Resolution 2024-150, authorize Univeris, Inc. to conduct an on-site visit to the Hampton Bays Water District for detailed discovery sessions with the Hampton Bays Water District Office, administrative, and field staff members.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 157, oh, sorry, Bill, that's
That's right,
yours.
you're doing a good job.
Go ahead.
This is sponsored by myself and Cynthia McNamara. Resolution 2026-0157, recall and amend Resolution 2025-1315, authorize supervisor to sign contract extend with Selected Manufacturing, Inc. for closed top shelf container inject trailer with hydraulic roof opening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 240 of 2026, notice to bidders for Poxabog Golf Center sanitary system upgrade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0245, co-sponsored by Councilmembers Pell, Iacilli, and McNamara. A notice to bidders for the Tupper Boathouse rehabilitation electrical construction.
Second.
Tom, did you want to be added to that? Because you're on all the other ones for the
Sure,
Tupper Boathouse.
please do that. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0249, co-sponsored by the entire board. Notice to bidders for the Tupper Boathouse rehabilitation general construction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0244, co-sponsored by the entire board. Well, no?
If we can put me on there,
Put 'em
then we get the
on.
entire board.
Okay, I might have missed something here. You're saying,
Councilman Neely wants to be added to the, right, to the Tupper
Entire
Boathouse.
board.
okay,
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
hear that, just let me, okay.
I'll shout.
Okay, so all of the Tupper Boathouse, add you as a sponsor.
Would, please.
Thank you, the other end of the table, it's like,
I know.
it's a different zip code.
Not me.
What's that?
Not me.
Not you, no, never you. Okay, go ahead, I'm
Did
sorry.
we do the 0244
We're on that
for
one.
the mechanical construction?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Town Board Resolution 2026-0246, now to be co-sponsored by the entire board. A notice to
add me.
bidders for the Tupper Boathouse rehabilitation plumbing construction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to the bond resolutions. We're going to do a roll call vote for all of these. So the first is,
Does the whole board want to be on this one? This senior?
I don't know.
Just you, Bill.
Borrowing money, Bill.
Well, it's a good cause.
You always want to do the project, you never want to borrow the money.
It's a good cause.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0226, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell, a bond resolution, a bond authorization for $500,000 for construction of the new Town Activity Center at 393 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach.
Second.
Okay, Supervisor Moore? Wait.
Yes.
Okay, Supervisor Moore, Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilman, woman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0221, co-sponsored by Councilmembers Neely, Iacilli, and Pell. A bond resolution authorizing $500,000 for the construction or reconstruction of various town sidewalks.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0215, co-sponsored by council members McNamara and Pell. Bond authorization of $700,000 for renovation and remodeling of the existing Tiana Beach Pavilion.
Second.
Madam Clerk, may I be added to that, please?
Certainly.
And would you please add me as well? We're all in.
This is why we do agenda review.
Yes. Okay.
I thought I was on this
Okay,
one. I
hold on.
apologize.
Just gonna have to give me time.
Just say when something's too nice to say.
Okay. Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Powell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0219, co-sponsored by Councilmember Pell. Bond authorization of $800,000 for the reconstruction and replacement of existing bulkheads.
Second.
All in favor?
Supervisor Moore.
Say all in favor?
Oh,
No.
we're not roll calling, okay.
Yes.
Are we?
Yes, it's bond.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli,
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Of course.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0218, co-sponsored by Councilmember Pell. A bond authorization of $925,000 for improvements to various town-owned buildings.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0217, co-sponsored by Councilmembers Pell and McNamara. A bond authorization of $1 million for upgrades to the town-wide daily and emergency radio communication system.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0220, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell. A bond authorization of $1 million for the acquisition of road maintenance vehicles and related equipment.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0223, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell. A bond authorization of $1 million to purchase equipment and vehicles for waste management.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0222, co-sponsored by Council Members Pell and Iacilli. A bond authorization of $2,750,000 for the reconstruction of town roads.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0216, co-sponsored by Council Members Pell and McNamara. A bond authorization of $4,100,000 for improvements to various town parks, playgrounds, and recreational areas.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0214, co-sponsored by Council Members Pell and Iacilli. A bond authorization of $410,000 for various special vehicles for the police department.
Second.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli.
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0227, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell, for a bond authorization of $500,000 for the design and engineering plans for construction or reconstruction of town-owned buildings and facilities.
Second.
And that is for the Justice Court design.
Yes.
Supervisor Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Neely,
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli,
Yes.
Councilman Pell,
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0224, co-sponsored by council members Pell and McNamara. Bond authorization for $1 million for improvement of the Hampton Bays Water District, Phase 3 of the replacement of district water meters.
Supervisor Moore?
Yes.
Councilman Neely?
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli?
Yes.
Councilman Pell?
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara?
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0225, co-sponsored by council members Pell and McNamara, a bond authorization of $3,155,000 for the improvement of the Hampton Bays Water District.
Second.
Supervisor Moore?
Yes.
Councilman Neely?
Yes.
Councilman Iacilli?
Yes.
Councilman Pell?
Yes.
Councilwoman McNamara?
Yes.
The deputy sent me a little note. It says roll call ends. Thank you, Kim.
Yes, that concludes the roll call. Town Board Resolution 2026-0162, co-sponsored by council members Pell and McNamara, to amend the 2026-2030 capital budget and to add capital project North Sea Park sidewalks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did Kim leave you that note?
She did.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. I always thank Kim.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0164, co-sponsored by council members Pell and McNamara, to amend the 2026-2030 capital budget and add capital project Ludlam Park Courts.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0165, co-sponsored by council members Pell and McNamara, to amend the 2026-2030 capital budget for the North Sea Park pickleball and bocce courts and transfer from the Park Reserve Number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0166, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell, to amend the 2026-2030 capital budget and to add capital project Justice Court Secure Door Access System Upgrade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0167, to amend the 2026-2030 capital budget and to add capital project Red Creek Park scoreboards.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0168, co-sponsored by Councilmember Pell, to amend the 2026-2030 capital budget and to add a capital project for town facilities upgrades.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I have a whole list of them.
Motion to amend Town Board Resolution 2026-247, amend the 2026 Parks and Recreation fee schedule. I'm making a motion to amend, and then I will table it once it's amended. Just the changes.
What is the
These are the
amendment?
changes that we discussed in the work session.
Okay.
And this was changing those peak season rates on the online versus the in-person.
Oh, yeah, those aren't on here.
Sunday, you have them.
Okay, so this is the amendments that you
So I
want.
need a motion to amend.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I'd like to table it. Do I need a motion to table?
Okay, hold on just one second. Okay, so the motion to amend,
Yeah.
and the second is,
Second.
okay,
Have we voted?
okay. And now,
I guess a motion to table?
yes.
Second.
To the February 10th.
February 10th meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Town Board Resolution 2026-0186, to amend the 2026 adopted budget for the purchase of land.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 197 of 2026, establish East Quogue Park District Advisory Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And here's appointments to all the boards. Town Board Resolution 2026-0240, to reappoint individuals to the Architectural Review Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0242, to appoint Theodore Jankowski, Chair of the Architectural Review Board for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0189, to reappoint individuals to the Board of Ethics.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0187, to reappoint individuals to the Conservation Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0188 to appoint Harry Ludlow as Chair of the Conservation Board for 2026.
Second. And he does a very good job.
Yes, he does. All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0194 to reappoint individuals to the Landmarks and Historic Districts Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0195 to appoint Stephanie Davis, Chair of the Landmarks and Historic Districts Board for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0192 to reappoint individuals to the Public Safety Commission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0193 to appoint Edwin Knight as Chair of the Public Safety Commission for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0235 to reappoint Helen Burgess to the Southampton Housing Authority.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0106. This is to appoint the Disability Advisory Task Force for 2026, but
Could I have myself removed as a sponsor, please?
Tom
And,
Neely.
And I am going to recuse myself from this.
Are you gonna move?
And I'm going to actually make a motion to amend to add Cynthia Neely as a member.
Need a second?
I'm removing you as a sponsor, and the second on the resolution is,
I'll second it.
okay, but you're remaining on the board. Right.
I'm recusing myself from the vote
He should also be off as a
as
co-sponsor.
a sponsor.
He's a co-sponsor on the bill.
Okay. Okay.
So the motion to amend has been made to add
And then to
Cynthia
add,
Neely and
you know.
seconded
By
by
Cynthia
Cynthia. And all in
I'm
favor?
adding Cynthia onto the board,
Neely, correct.
but Tom's remaining in there. You're staying.
Oh, as an ex officio.
Ex
He's an
officio.
ex officio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just as a co-sponsor to the bill, he's got to be taken off. Thank you for the clarification, Cindy.
Okay, so motion to amend. Okay,
We need to vote.
you need to vote.
So on the motion to amend, I don't know, did we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
And
And then to
as a
motion to vote as amended.
Same second.
Okay,
all in favor? Aye.
And Tom is a recusal.
yep. Thank you. Sorry, I appreciate it.
Town Board Resolution 107 of 2026, appoint Office of Veterans Affairs for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 112 of 2026, appoint Agricultural Advisory Committee for 2026.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0184 to appoint Edward Moneypenny as Chair of the Audit Advisory Committee for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0183 to reappoint Cynthia Neely to the Audit Advisory Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm recusing.
Town Board Resolution 111 of 2026, appoint Trails Advisory Board for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town Board Resolution 2026-0190 to appoint the Water Quality Advisory Committee for 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then, maybe at the next meeting, there's just a few more that we might have to do. The bulk of it. Town Board Resolution 2026-174 to authorize the settlement of the litigation matter Miller Anthony et al. Versus the Town of Southampton et al.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I don't know why you're the sponsor on this, Bill.
There you go.
I don't know, but you can do it.
So it's Town Board Resolution 228 of 2026, co-sponsored with council members Pell, Moore, and Iacilli, and I guess we're going to table this until February 10th.
Second to table.
Can you switch the names around?
Didn't we just,
Or make me the lead sponsor. I don't know
want to.
how Bill became the lead sponsor. I'm the parks,
I have no idea yet.
and I'm the lead sponsor. It's not my legislation, I'm just the liaison to
Sorry,
parks.
I didn't mean to, yes.
What was the other one you just put over?
The fee schedule for all the
'cause it's
parking
both.
permits.
Thank you for the tabling.
And the mayor has already reached out, we're gonna have a conversation.
Oh, this
so.
is the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, so did we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 196 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely. Public interest order in the matter of the increase and improvement of the facilities of the Hampton Bays Water District pursuant to Town Law 202B.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 132 of 2026, authorize the supervisor to sign the 2026 Cultural Arts and Recreation Grants, and I believe the entire board was supposed to co-sponsor this?
Second.
Yes.
And the entire board.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Seconded by Councilmember Iacilli. All in favor? Aye.
Town Board Resolution 129 of 2026, co-sponsored by the entire board, authorize the supervisor to sign the 2026 Community Program Grants.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 128 of 2026, co-sponsored by the entire board, authorize the supervisor to sign the 2026 Hamlet Services Grants.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 131 of 2026, co-sponsored by the entire board, authorize the supervisor to sign the 2026 Human Services Grants.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0169, a resolution to appoint a delegate to the New York State Association of Towns 2026 Annual Meeting and Training School.
Second.
And that's all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And thank you, Cindy, for volunteering to do that.
We'll see you there. Resolution 2026-232, this is to attend the DCJS Pistol Instructor Course in Westchester for the Police Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is Resolution 2026-120, this is attendance to the NYTOA, the New York Tactical Officers Association Conference for the Police Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0233, a stipend for Records Management FOIL employee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0125, to accept the resignation of an employee in land management.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-177, to accept the resignation of an employee in the building department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0124, to accept the resignation of an employee in land management.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0127, to accept the resignation of an employee in the Public Safety Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0133, to appoint Justin McConnell to sanitation helper in waste management.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0252, to appoint Marcelo Suarez to sanitation helper in waste management.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0121, a vacation carryover for the 2025-2026 excess.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0172, co-sponsored by Council Members Pell and McNamara, which is a notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 130 Old Riverhead Road West in the hamlet of Hampton Bays for water quality purposes, and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, and
Aye.
Madam Clerk, may I be added to that as liaison to CPF?
I would have thought that was in the project plan. Oh. But the Pine Barren Society people came to see me and they were like, we want all that property up there, it's all in their plan. Yeah, this is just the water quality. And that's why we have to monitor water quality. Did we vote on that?
Yes.
Remember, thank you. Town Board
Believe so.
Resolution 2026-0199, co-sponsored by the entire board, a notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 13 Cove Road North in the hamlet of North Sea, New York, and to amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0173, co-sponsored by the entire board, a notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 3841 Lake Avenue in the hamlet of Northampton and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's that abandoned gas station in Northampton. I can't wait for
Very
that.
excited.
All these public hearings, I think, including the next one, are on February 10th at 1 o'clock. Town Board Resolution 248 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell. Notice of public hearing to consider enactment of Chapter 263 entitled Registration of Vacant Buildings.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2026-0001. This is a notice of public hearing to consider the adoption of the Community Preservation Fund Water Quality Improvement Project Plan update with expanded priority area maps for the IA sanitary system grant funding eligibility, following up from our work session last year.
Oh, were you finished?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Janice, for your work on that. Did you want to speak a little bit on that, or? No, we'll.
Here in case you have any
Okay.
questions, you all got it. We're just updating a couple of housekeeping appendices, but everything is going to be posted online.
Great.
And,
And we'll have the public hearing.
we'll have a public. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
That's
we're
February
expanding
24th.
the scope of the eligible properties.
Yeah.
Correct,
which is
for
important.
IA systems.
Yeah, thank you.
I know I'm not supposed to talk before. And just, we've been trying to get this out there, and because it's January and there's new money, I mean, there was no reason to expand the areas if we didn't have the funding. So now you have a fresh new pot of money, so then you can expand the areas, so it all makes sense. So thank you for your work.
Thank you for
Dan.
your diligent work on that.
Great.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0198, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the acquisition of 1950 Meadow Lane in the village of Southampton and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0255, to authorize the supervisor to sign documentation regarding an offer of future dedication of an easement area.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-180, road review application for Maria Pashayan, Suffolk County Tax Map number as indicated, situated at Hampton Bays, is accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0179, road review application for Anthony DiFilippi, Suffolk County Tax Map number is indicated, situated at North Sea, is accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the 4 walk-ons. Town Board Resolution,
Yeah, we missed one.
One more.
we did?
It's the last one.
Road
It's yours.
review.
Another road review.
Ah, okay.
I was on the road review committee, so I don't miss those.
Town Board Resolution 2026-181, road review application for Patricia Stewart, Revocable Trust, Suffolk County Tax Map number as indicated, situated at Flying Point, is accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0266, to update the town workplace violence prevention program.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's great. Town Board Resolution 2026-0267, to ratify a settlement agreement.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Town Board Resolution 2026-0279, to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents for the New York State Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program for the Hampton West Park revitalization.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just want
Hopefully we
to point
get
out
that
on the,
one.
I just want to point out on the violence prevention program, the update to it was that all of the people on the committee have to be named, so we were just naming, some people changed, so it wasn't the actual program or hadn't changed,
I'm not updating the program, just the people.
just the people on it.
Okay.
And the last walk-on is Town Board Resolution 2026-0283, the warrant number 2, capital number 2, CPF number 2, dated January 27th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who helped us on 1950 Meadow Lane.
Yes.
One of the biggest steps Southampton town has done in a long time.
Indeed.
Thank you for your advocacy on that, Bill.
Yes, and maybe a few more to go, like the one Jim fell in the water at.
Beautiful spot, too.
Yeah.
Our grandchildren will thank us for this.
All right, well, if there's no other comments, then I move to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks, everyone.